Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. So it has been some time since my last video, and that is because I have some things going on in my personal life, and I don't know if you guys can tell, but I am with child. We're expecting our second baby in January, which is very exciting, and we recently found out that it's gonna be another baby girl, so very excited to put them in matching outfits and share my love of purses with them and all that. Anyways, so that's my very quick announcement of what has been going on lately. If you guys are interested at all to hear about my pregnancy journey or how I'm doing and all that, please leave me a comment below. But I know this is a more of a luxury bag kind of channel, so I don't I don't really need to get into all that. But yeah, I am about 5 months pregnant now, so like I said earlier, I am expecting in January, but I am hoping to go back to my regular posting schedule of 2 times a week. And yeah, and I really appreciate all your support over the last month, especially if you're a new subscriber to my channel. Welcome. I hope you love it here. I share a lot of detailed bag reviews, my views on general kind of trends and new bag trends and new seasonal items and things like that. And we talk about all the popular, all different fashion houses out there. And yeah, so for today's video, I really debated what I wanted to talk about, but I feel like there is one that that we can't really overlook, which is this big price increase that happened on October 1st on these Louis Vuitton items, especially on the canvas items. So these ones. And one of the one that's a big shocker, well, I don't know if it's a big shocker anymore, so I am located in Canada. You can easily find a lot of price comparison in the US dollar or in European dollars. I do find every time with a price increase, I struggle to find comparison of items in Canadian pricing. So if you go into Purse Forum, you are able to, if there is a particular item that you're interested to see, you can use that forum. There is a, I often check out the what are you stocking post, which will list like screenshots of previous items. So if you go back and do a search on an item name, you should be able to locate an earlier price of a screenshot or something like that from before. So that's one way of seeing old price versus new price. Or of course, if you have been stocking these items for quite some time, you probably know them by hand. So for myself, there are a few items I keep an eye on just because I like them and I'm considering buying them and buying more of them or things like that. So the mini pochette, for one, I already have 2 of them, which I love. And I have to be honest, I haven't used either of them too often lately because I just been working through my other bags lately. But this one went from $5.15 Canadian dollar to $6.90 Canadian dollar plus tax, which is a significant jump. I feel like it's probably one of the, every increase that they do, it's almost like the increase range or percentage is becoming larger and larger on some of these items, which is always surprising. I'm like, this little thing does not, to me, I don't think it's worth $6.90. However, with that said, I think I'm not going to tell you guys all the details of, how much these items have increased and all that, because I feel like there's probably already tons of videos about them, or you can already find that information elsewhere. But let me know if there's an item or you have a question about an increase. I will try to find that information for you. However, I want to talk about how I feel about these increases and what does that mean? Does that mean we should no longer be buying these things, or how does it work? I think everything is somewhat relative, right? So yes, there is a big increase on these small SLGs, but if you look around, there's a pretty good increase on all the items out there, including other brands, right? Chanel's or other luxury brands. They go through this regular price increase annually all the time. The frequency and the range may vary here and there, but I don't feel like that should be a factor when you're determining what you should be investing or what you should be purchasing next. I feel like, for example, if the mini PA has been on your wish list for a long time, the price of these things, do they really matter? They're at the end of the day a luxury item, so they are overpriced regardless of what it is. And if you look at, you know, other SLGs out there, if you compare a pouch like item to a Gucci or a YSL branding, it's somewhat comparable anyway. So I feel like at the end of the day, put the money into the items that will make your heart sing, that will make you happy. These are luxury things, so they're not really necessities, but things to kind of make us happy, and buying something that you really will make use of. So if you like the item, you'll definitely use it more. So I do feel like that will be somewhat more worthwhile. So I think, again, like similar to the previous few increases now, the Damien Ebene print did not increase right away. So if you still have an opportunity, you can still get your hands on these ones for the lower price. And I feel like that is a strategy they're trying to use. So encouraging people to buy the Damien Ebene version, and then, but I think very soon they will align all the prices as we know it. So, but you know, that's one of the things that you can consider as well. Bottom line is, again, I feel like we've visited these conversation quite often. Is like, should I still buy them? Should I save my money and invest in Chanel piece or Hermes piece? That is totally up to you. These items, regardless of how much they increase, they are still hard to get your hands on, which is so unbelievable to me. I still think people are still crazy over pochette accessoire, even though the price has jumped almost double. It's double now, I think. Yeah, it's more than a double since I've purchased mine. So I do think these things are to be considered, and kind of, you know, don't talk to someone who's owned these pieces for many years, because they've paid like only a fraction of what it is at retail now. And even if they resell, they will go for a expensive price. But again, I think all trends come and go. Like the PA wasn't super popular for a long time. So, you know, if you really want to wait, maybe at some point these will no longer be as popular, and then they will go for cheaper. So it's up to you. Like I said, these luxury items, you buy them because they make you happy, doesn't necessarily mean, you know, like price is one of the considerations, but shouldn't be the only factor you look at when you're buying something. But I can still tell you the resale on these things are still quite good. So even if you are able to get your hands on one and change your mind, you can probably still, you know, sell it for the same price that you paid for. I feel like right now, I haven't been looking at the secondhand market too much on this item. Feel like it's about the same. You can maybe sell around retail or slightly over retail. I have seen ones that's under retail that's a little bit more used, but definitely still popular as the price increase shows. So, you know, if you can and you still love it and wants to own one just for the experience, go ahead and do that. I've laid out my two other pieces here, my two vintage pieces. The reason I'm saying that is I think this is a really good time to put money into some of the vintage canvas pieces. A lot of these, I think they're just timeless and gorgeous regardless when you use them and when you buy them. These canvas from the vintage bags are generally still very durable and very well maintained. I love my Noe here. The vachetta leather on this one is amazing. And honestly, these are, you can buy them for so little money. I think easily cheaper than these newer mini pochette. Like, I think you can, if like Speedy, I would say is not super popular in terms of like, it's popular still as one of their classic lines, but you can find these on the secondhand market for really good price. I would say, depending on the condition of the bag, you can find them for, I don't know, $300-400, $400-500. They come in various sizes, so there are tons of options on the vintage market. And because the majority of the bag is in that canvas material, they're generally in really good condition. Like I had mine forever and it is still holding up pretty nicely. The one thing a lot of people do question with vintage pieces is whether they could replace the vachetta. The replacement and the repair of the vachetta is gonna cost you more than what you paid for the bag itself. So I don't know if it's always worthwhile. So I would still encourage people to buy one with a nice condition vachetta part, because that will help you with the longer maintenance of your bag and the longevity of your bag. But definitely look into the vintage market. Louis Vuitton is one of the ones that's really been around forever, and there are so many options on the vintage market, and largely a lot of the designs and overall aesthetics are the same, because the canvas hasn't changed for many years. So if you are into this vintage, like if you're into the monogram, then there are tons of monogram pieces that you could potentially explore, instead of putting $690 plus tax on this little mini pochette. So that is something to consider. I had great time looking through my vintage market, except recently because of the pandemic situation. They have been limiting on what kind of posting service they can ship the items to. So it's been a while since I bought something, but I'm looking forward to look through that. It's really much more like a treasure hunt, I think, in my opinion. But I've always loved all the vintage pieces I've purchased through different avenues. And again, if you want more information on that, I have previous videos on it, or just leave me a comment. I'll be happy to provide more information on that. So sorry, I mean, it is my first video back, so it wasn't super well planned. I know initially I was planning to give you guys all the details about the price changes and price increases, but I've already seen so many videos on those, so I feel like it will be a little redundant. But like I said, things have changed a little bit in my life, and I do have videos coming, so I have unboxings and more comparisons and other things to talk to you guys about. So if there is anything in particular that you're interested in, please leave me a comment below. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm very excited for you to be here. I have tons of videos on this little guy, comparisons, reviews, whether you should buy it or not. So I will link them all here below, and I hope you will check them out. And I will talk to you guys very soon. Bye.